Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth here with Cami, back for the Biz Bash podcast.
Woohoo!
Today is episode 8, and we're talking about how to collaborate with a company. This is something that I get questions about a lot. Just full disclosure up front, you'll probably hear me talking a little bit more today.
This is all about Elizabeth today. It is her show, you guys. She is going to school you with some knowledge about collaborating with companies. So it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, Cami definitely still has great experience, great insight. I'm just bringing a couple of the big companies I've worked with, big names, I guess, to talk about, just to give you guys an idea of kind of what goes on behind the scenes when you build a relationship with a company. So are we doing a review today, Cami? Are we reading one of those?
Yes, we are. Let me just find one. 1 second, you guys. Okay.
This is what happens when we're looking at our notes ahead of time and we go on tangents instead of actually talking about the notes for the podcast. That's okay.
Okay. This review comes from @teal_yielding. I hope I said that correctly. I'm so sorry. And she says, I think it's a she, awesome sauce. I've listened to countless other podcasts aiming to help small biz owners and aspiring entrepreneurs, but many left me overwhelmed at where to start. Not this one. It's refreshing, realistic, and empowering. So many nuggets of wisdom from these ladies. Can't wait to learn more. Well, we can't wait to share more, and we are so excited. That is such a sweet review. I love these adjectives: refreshing, realistic, and empowering. I want that tattooed on my forehead.
We need to work those into our copy somehow.
I know. Those are good. Yeah. So now that we have our little ego burst for our little ego boost for the episode, we can talk about collaborating with a company and what that actually looks like behind the scenes, because it probably looks like it's very seamless and very professional, and it just happens so naturally, but there actually are a lot of moving parts. So Elizabeth, why don't you start off with talking with one of you about some of your different experience with working with some bigger companies and bigger brands?
Yeah, for sure. I have had the privilege of working with some awesome brands and companies that are really exciting, and companies that I really love. And I've only chosen to work with companies that I actually feel like are a really good fit. I've been approached by different companies before because they want me to do something promo related on YouTube. You know, they want to send me something that I do a free review for. That stuff I've kind of moved away from. I think I only did one of those, and I did write that down as one of the collaborations because it was still a good experience. Mm-hmm. But some of my biggest ones have been working with QuickBooks Self-Employed in a really cool kind of close-knit capacity. I have a really great relationship with that company. And then also working with Get Marked Co. That's the company that does all of my wax seal stamps. So that is definitely very much a collaboration. Both of those are. It's kind of like that mutual work and respect.
How did your relationship with QuickBooks actually happen? Because they're such a huge company. Were you already on their radar? Did you reach out? How did this even happen?
That's a great question. It's kind of funny because back in April of 2017, or spring of 2017, I was kind of trying to think, hey, what's the next thing I want to teach people or educate people about through Instagram or YouTube or some platform related to that. because I had done my wood signs course in February, which we talked about in the failure episode. Didn't go as well as planned, but I was like ready to branch out and move on to the next big thing. And I've always used QuickBooks Self-Employed for my finance purposes. Cami uses GoDaddy Bookkeeping. I use QuickBooks Self-Employed. Both really great platforms, but I wanted to teach people how to use QuickBooks Self-Employed. So when I was on their website, I actually used the chat box. So like the help desk chat box.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I typed into there and I was like, hi, this is super random. I don't have a technical issue, but could you please put me in touch with whoever manages your marketing, because I would really love to talk to somebody about building out a sandbox account on your software so that I could teach others how to use it, because I don't want to reveal my own financial information.
So smart.
Yeah, honestly, I was totally free. What do you call it? At that point, when you're just kind of like spontaneously.
Like either way, if they said no, it's not a big deal. And you just didn't really have a lot of skin in the game, basically. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I was just winging it there. Yeah. That's kind of what I was looking for. Because I had looked for an email on their website or any sort of information about page contact, etc. Found nothing. So I was like, well, I'm going to message them through their help desk. And the reason I was doing this in the first place was actually because Corinne from Stuck with Pins on Instagram had challenged her followers to have 3
rejections?
no's. Yeah, 3 rejections. And I think we touched base on this on one of our earlier episodes too. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, QuickBooks Self-Employed is a company I would really like to work with. If they say no to me, cool. I can check it off as a rejection. I actually was really surprised that they said yes. I think I was shocked. I think I actually got disconnected from them during that first conversation. Those chat boxes are like weird and finicky.
Yeah.
So I came back the following day and I messaged them again. I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I was like the weird random girl yesterday asking about a sandbox account, yada, yada. They ended up putting me in contact with basically someone who did a lot of like marketing and work for QuickBooks Self-Employed, who has basically been my go-to contact ever since. And they gave me a sandbox account to use for free to teach other people how to use QuickBooks Self-Employed. Now, long story short, I didn't end up doing anything like with those videos at the time. It's like I have never done anything with those videos, which is like embarrassing to say, but at the end of the day, that's not how the relationship evolved anyways. There was never a contract in place. It was never something official. They were just excited that I showed initiative and showed interest in their program and what they were doing. So because of that, they followed up with me in August of 2017, and they were kind of like, hey, how's everything going? And I was basically like, a lot of stuff changed in my business and my personal life, and I didn't do anything with this. I'm really sorry. I'd still love to figure it out someday. But they took the next step and invited me to attend their QuickBooks Connect conference. So they flew me out to San Jose and paid for my hotel room and paid for me to go to this conference. And I ended up speaking on a panel. On a self-employed panel. It was just like the most surreal and strange and weird thing.
I love how you went from reaching out via a chat box on their website to speaking on a panel at their conference. Like, what the heck?
And the panel wasn't scheduled. That was a fluke in a way, because somebody dropped out and they were like, hey, Elizabeth, you're here. Do you want to do it? And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't care. I'm always, Cami, you know this, I'm always kind of like a wing it personality in some ways. I'm a planner.
I don't have notes. I can't. Oh, man.
Oh, if you don't have notes, you can't function.
Yeah, exactly. So the people that you work with there, is it the same person that you're talking to, or do you just...
Yeah, my contact today is still the same person as it started out with. And I've spoken to multiple people within the company since that point, because they keep asking me to like do interviews for this and that article, and they connect me with other people that want to do interviews. Like, I have have a spot in a Brit & Co article that somebody like found and pointed out to me. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
And then the newest, most recent connection is they referred me to someone at Washington Post Brand Studio. That's their like specialty studio within the newspaper, essentially, to also do an interview with me. So it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. It's like they found a self-employed person. I took the initiative, like as a solopreneur, self-employed, creativepreneur, whatever, to reach out to them. And so I think it was like perfect timing because I presented myself and they were like, whoa, this is cool. We could use this girl who cares so much about our business to like build this relationship. And I have never, ever once felt like slighted or cheated by them in any way. It has been the best collaboration ever.
Yeah.
And my contact from there, I follow her on Instagram now. We have each other's numbers and like we'll text occasionally. And so it's more of a friendship.
Yeah, it works because it's mutually beneficial too. Like you love their product so much, so they're naturally getting leads and customers from you because you're just naturally gushing about it. And in return, they're able to serve you and show that you're like a loyal customer and reward you for that, which is awesome. So this is just such a cool collaboration. And I can't believe how many things it's led to just from reaching out and putting yourself out there, which is a lesson we can all learn from. It's just putting yourself out there. You don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean, it's already led to so many opportunities for you, which is really cool. And I love it. So, yeah.
And then the other really crazy thing about all this that I still can't believe, I'm kind of like pinching myself, is that when I first contacted QuickBooks Self-Employed, they didn't have an affiliate program. What it was is that you would get like gift card rewards if you referred somebody. So they kind of had a referral program, not an affiliate program. I think they're a little different. Affiliate, I always associate with being paid out in cash.
Right.
Referral program, it's like you get credit or you get gift cards or something and the like.
Yeah.
So they actually utilized me as someone to help them build their ambassador program. So they had me like check their website copy in their emails and be like, does this sound good if we're sending it to a bunch of people like you, people who love our program and are already talking about it? We want to invite them to actually make some cash by talking about us more.
So you're the guinea pig, basically.
Yeah, I was the guinea pig. They call me the OG ambassador. There's a couple other people that are
awesome.
that help them do that as well. Other solopreneurs, self-employed people. But yeah, if any of you guys are signed up for the ambassador program for QuickBooks Self-Employed, then you can think about me. I'm just kidding.
Then just thank Elizabeth because she set that up for you. So you're welcome. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just playing.
Okay. I think it lit the fire underneath them to do something more for the self-employed population because QuickBooks Online is so focused on big companies and QuickBooks Self-Employed kind of gets like trampled on. But
yeah,
anyway.
And I think companies are starting to see now that like influencer marketing and putting faces to people who are actually using their product is so much more successful than just being like, here's a commercial for our stuff,
Yes.
as a way to humanize their brand. So it's really awesome. This is kind of like the turning point on that, especially with the influencer marketing. I mean, you see all these bloggers now. So if you are creative, I mean, this is a great time to start pitching yourself to bigger companies and showing how you can have influence and sell their product or sell their service through your own audience. So definitely some cool ways to get connected. But okay, so what are some other brands that you've worked with for collaborating?
The two most simple ones, I did a collaboration with Interact Quizzes and also with VersaChalk chalkboard markers. And both of those were kind of exchanges. So it's like if I did something for them, they gave me something in return. So VersaChalk was like, hey, I'm going to send you free products in exchange for a YouTube video and an Instagram giveaway. So I did that with them. That was honestly like my first fall of being full-time, I think, or the first winter.
For VersaChalk, did they find you on YouTube or did they find you on Instagram? Do you know?
They found me on YouTube.
Oh, so
I
cool.
remember them telling me that. I think they even messaged me through YouTube, which is interesting because I didn't even know that was a thing before they did that.
But yeah, I didn't know that was a thing either. But I'm not really on YouTube ever, really. So
yeah,
but it's like a whole untapped marketplace, especially if you're wanting to collaborate with brands. Yeah, definitely a place to get connected, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've had so many people like reach out about different things because they found me on YouTube specifically. I'm still trying to figure out what to really do with my YouTube in the long run. Because working with VersaChalk was great. I really enjoyed that collaboration. It was fun. It fit with my business at the time. And then I realized like doing these sort of free collaborations and exchanges, like having just a free product like a marker isn't enough for me to do that in the future. So now when people approach me, I do give them like your evaluations, my rates.
Yeah, your rates for creating content for them, essentially. I mean, I did have one collaboration that I did with a company. So Paul Rubens, their paint palettes and brushes, they reached out to me. They're a newer company in the watercolor space. And I think they found me on Facebook first and then found my Instagram. But I honestly, I thought it was a scam at first because English is not their first language. But the more I checked it out, I was like, okay, so they're just trying to get started in the watercolor space. And then when they sent me the paint palette and the brushes to test, I like procrastinated on this for a long time before I actually used it. And the guy was like, his name was something I can't pronounce. He's like, hey, did you use it yet? I'm like, oh crap, no, I'm sorry. So I end up using it, loving it. And I wrote a blog post. They just asked me to write a review, but I ended up doing a whole blog post on it because I really like them, actually. And I sent them the blog post and the email, and he liked it so much that they decided to send me 3 more paint palettes to give away, which was perfect timing because I was able to plan it for my 10K giveaway on Instagram and turn that into a little promotion for them with the giveaway and also have something to promote myself on Instagram, which was cool. So it worked out really well. But the only thing they wanted in return was for me to leave a review and then promote people to their Amazon page, which is where they're selling their stuff. But yeah, I think in the future I would like have some rates in place on how I do things. But since this was my first collaboration with the company, with my business in this sense, doing it just in exchange for product was totally fine. And I think it depends on if you really use and love the product. Like if Arches watercolor paper reached out to me and wanted to do a collaboration, I would do that for free paper all day, every day, because that stuff is gold to me. But if it's a brand that I don't necessarily use and don't necessarily love yet, then I think I would look more into presenting a rate page or something like that for creating editorial content or promoting them in some way. So just to keep it honest.
Yeah, because depending on how much time you spend on everything, like for me, like a YouTube video was like quite a bit of an investment of time.
Right.
And that's what made me realize I was like, well, if I'm going to be doing this again, I would want some sort of like compensation, or sponsorship in place, make it a little bit more official. But yeah, I remember being sketched out by theirs at first too, because I was like, is this real? Or like I get people will send me free things, maybe like once a month. I have somebody reach out to me who wants just to send me something for free. The sad thing though is when people send me things for free, sometimes I forget about it because there's no value associated with it. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
Because I've seen like companies before try to do, hey, do you want to be a brand ambassador? We'll send you something for free, but your return on investment for that might be lower because if someone gets something for free, it's not valued in the same way. I don't know.
No, that definitely makes sense. But on the flip side, I feel like it legitimizes your business that you've worked with brands and you can say like, oh, I'm a brand ambassador for whatever. Like, don't you think it gives a sense of legitimacy in some places, like that their brand is trusting you enough to be an ambassador?
Oh,
So,
yeah, for sure. I'm just talking about, like, for creatives out
yeah.
there who I think a lot of us are like, "Oh, if I send somebody something for free," which I did back in the day, I sent a blogger, like, a free wood sign hoping she would share about it and it would generate a bunch of business for me. Yeah,
Mhm.
it didn't work that way.
Oh,
Like
I've worked with some bloggers. I always say like, "Hey, I'm looking for a launch cheerleader for this product or whatever," and I'll look on Facebook groups and then say like, "Can I be included in your gift guide? I'll send you this for free. Can I get a social media post?" Some have been successful, others not. I don't even look at like the following amount. I'm normally looking at the engagement. Like, are people actually commenting on their posts and responding?
Right.
Do they have like an engaged kind of audience? And is this a good fit for people who like my products? So it's kind of gone both ways. I think there's definitely an avenue to be explored with influencer marketing. But this is like a whole other conversation besides working with the company. But yeah, so like looking at it from the other side of things, like us reaching out to other creatives, other bloggers for promoting our own stuff, not necessarily us promoting our things, but yeah, that's a totally different conversation. So
It is, but I will say too, like my dad is the CEO of a big company, Shop Ventori, which I've told you about, Cami.
Oh, yes.
And he was telling me, he's like, it's been interesting seeing who approaches us about trying to be like an ambassador or do a collaboration, like paid sponsorship with us. Like he's trying to figure it out too. As a CEO, he's like, who do I say yes to and who do I say no to? Or is there any value in this for my business? Because you're right, it's so like uncharted with the whole influencer.
It's totally new. It's a totally new way of marketing. Everyone's just kind of putting their toes in, figuring out what works, figuring out what doesn't. So you could totally be the pioneer of this if you put yourself out there and reach out via chat box to some of these bigger companies and, put yourself out there and be like, hey, I'm willing to do this. Let's make it work. Let's collaborate. And we'll talk about like some more practical tips on how to actually do that and some things we recommend for presenting yourself to a brand. But yeah, so many different possibilities. It's very exciting.
All of the possibilities.
All the possibilities, yes.
Then the last one that I had, I mentioned Interact quizzes as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they reached out to me and asked me to use their quiz. They were like, build a quiz, share it on your website, and write a blog post for how it worked for you, and you could have it for free. And after doing research about their product and how cool their quizzes were on the back end and understanding that, I was like, this is something I want for free. So it made sense for me to spend my time to do that, to get a product that would cost me monthly quite a bit. So I was like, this is a lasting investment. Now I have this for forever. So that was another thing where they contacted me. Once again, they're looking for influencers. People ask me all the time, they're like, how did you get in touch with so-and-so, or why did they reach out to you to ask you to do something? And the honest answer is, I don't always know, like whether it's YouTube or Instagram or they heard about me from someone else. I think just the important thing is staying engaged on your social media platforms, because you never know who might find you and ask.
Totally. And like already just being a fan of the things that you love. Like I think both of us, we obviously love Dubsado. We talk about it all the time. And I know Dubsado asked you to do their webinar series when they were doing like walkthroughs. Do you remember? And you did the how to use Dubsado as a designer. And then after you did it, we weren't even friends then. I was like, oh, well, if Elizabeth can do it, I guess I can do it. And so then I reached out. I was like, hey, I want to do this too. And then we both ended up doing a webinar series with them, which was cool.
Sometimes all it is asking. And I think we're always waiting on the edge of our seats for somebody to contact us. But at the end of the day, like the big company, QuickBooks Self-Employed, that I really wanted to work with, I was the one to reach out to them.
Yeah. So that is awesome. Oh my gosh. So funny story on this. My friend, her name's Jessa. She used to have Flax and Wool Designs, and now she works as the, art designer for Emily Lay's Simplified team.
Cool.
I know. So anyway, she was doing products and pattern design. I think she wanted to work something with Target. So I think she just DM'd Target and was like, hey, I would love to work with y'all. Who can I talk to? And they ended up DMing her back and like getting her phone number and her contact info. And she ended up teaching a calligraphy course at Target's headquarters. Like they flew her out there because they loved her and like turned into this whole thing, which is freaking awesome. And all she did was just DM him and be like, hey, I'm a fan. let's do something. Like, pretty cool, you know? So all it takes is just a little, like, just saying hello and introducing yourself, like getting on their radar. I know, isn't that a cool story?
Yeah, and guys, there's definitely brands I've reached out to that I've gotten told no before. Just gonna put that out there too.
It's not like you reach out and everything happens and there's sunshine and rainbows, but it could.
Yeah, like in the past month, I reached out to Allbirds because I'm obsessed with their shoes. I'm always taking shots of things on my floor, and my shoes are in the picture, so I like randomly pitched to them, just winged it, and was like, "Would you ever want to do a collaboration?" I haven't heard back from them. They did say they're like, "We'll be in touch if there's anything," which is kind of code for like no. And then the other one was Greetable, and I reached out to them about the same time that I had reached out to QuickBooks Self-Employed, because I wanted to see if I could design a pattern for them because it's so cute, and that was so also
cute. What a cute
basically
idea.
a no. They were like, submit your collection. And I was like, what does that mean? And I made like 4 random patterns and was like, here.
Here you go.
Yeah. So that would still be a dream, like doing something with them. They're another big one, but you never know if you don't ask. So we keep coming back to that.
I want to work with Lululemon and create like the entrepreneur leggings that are just super comfortable and like have plenty of pockets for all your phones and paintbrushes. I'll let them know.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
wait,
Lululemon,
so is that
what's up?
something? Is that something they don't have yet?
I don't know.
Like
they have everything. They already read my mind. They already know what I want. It's fine. But
Tammy's got me on the Lululemon train. What can I say? I'm wearing mine right now.
See, I'm wearing mine right now too. They're the best. They're so freaking comfortable. See, I know. I got her some for Christmas and I was really excited.
That was so nice of you guys. She spoiled me.
Well,
I got her cat paper clips.
I love the cat paper. They're a little cat, like a food thing, and they're like little cat shapes and little cat measuring spoons. They're so cute. Oh, and some really good smelling soap. All kinds of stuff. Okay, what am we talking about? Focus.
We'll loop back because I have one more company to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Because this one is actually what I'm classifying it as a paid collaboration. I'm not sure if this is kind of sort of commission, like what I should classify it as. Maybe you could help me with that, Cami. But
I still think it's a collaboration here because you designed a collection for them with your wax seals.
Yes.
So you collaborated with them to create something exclusive. Yeah.
Yes. So it's exclusive with Get Marked Co. They're a wax seal company. And I designed 12. Well, at first it was 10 original wax seal designs. Now I have 12. I added some for the holidays. Anyway, the deal with Get Marked Co. is that I have to do the promotion for my own collection. So the collection is only on my website and my Etsy. They don't get to sell my designs. I'm in charge of making sure my designs sell. Then I submit them through an order form. We have a shared Google spreadsheet and I add all the orders to there, and they're in charge of shipping them out for me. So they do the production and everything on the back end. So we pretty much have a 50-50 split because I'm bringing the sales to the table, I guess, by doing the marketing up front, and then they're fulfilling the orders. And I've been really happy with that. So
this is such an interesting like business model. I've never really heard of. I mean, I'm sure this is out there. It's just a different model than I've heard before. Like, I think more typical would be like they would pay you for your designs and then they sell them and you might make a small percentage off royalties or just get like a big check up front for all your designs. You know what I mean? So this is really cool. It really is like an ongoing collaboration with them and not so much like a wholesale artist licensing kind of relationship. So
yeah, absolutely. And I would maybe eventually talk to them about licensing if I wanted to move away from products completely.
Right.
And be like, hey, do you want to buy the designs from me? And what would that look like? But I know there's other wax seal companies out there that do collaborations. And you're right, Cami. I think the artist does it up front and then they make some sort of commission from sales.
Yeah.
Whereas like I get to determine, they gave me kind of their rates of like, okay, here's what's reasonable for a retail amount, but you get to decide what you want to charge. So I owe them the same amount for a wax seal every single time I sell one. Mm-hmm. But if I raised it like $2 more or whatever, then I would make that additional $2. They don't get a cut of that. Right. So it's really been a cool
that is cool
setup.
It gives you a lot more freedom and flexibility. Like you're in control, basically.
Yeah, I really am. It it's a win and then sometimes a little bit of a lose because it's like I do have to remember to promote them and put them out there, and I'm not always good at remembering to do that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it would be nice to have a really big brand that's doing that for me. I mean, they are pretty big. Like they're growing a lot for sure. And I think I only know of one other creative that has a collection with them that I personally know of. So I think they're kind of trying to still figure it out in their business as well.
Right. So your designs aren't necessarily, they're not on their website. They're only promoted on your own platforms.
Yeah, that's correct. Like I have full ownership of them. They wouldn't ever be allowed to use them without my permission.
I actually like that.
I do like it because they're mine.
Yeah, they are yours forever. Okay. So you want to talk about some practical tips for people who do want to start working with brands and some things you can do to get noticed and maybe start pitching yourself so you can start building those relationships. So I think we kind of, obviously, this is pretty much a no-brainer, but you really need to get their attention on social media. So using the right hashtags, maybe if that if the company you're trying to work with has their own specific hashtag, I would totally start using that and tagging the company in relevant posts. Like don't just tag them in everything. That would be weird, but in relevant posts, like maybe if you're using the paper or if it's, doing envelopes with the wax seals or that you're from their company, just thinking of relevant ways you can create content that's promoting their brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that kind of loops back to kind of what you were saying earlier in the conversation. Mm-hmm. Because if they see that you're already talking about something, they're going to be more interested.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to contact them out of the blue and be like, I want to collaborate with you, but there's nothing on your social about their products prior. Or you haven't shown interest like at all.
Yeah, exactly. And also this helps other brands too to see how you would work with another brand. So it kind of creates a framework of like what you can offer them in terms of promotion, which is like another point that I would talk about is what ways can you actually promote them? Like if you were pitching to them, I would let them know, hey, I have a podcast I can promote you on. I'm going to talk about you with my 10,000 social media followers. I have this many subscribers on my YouTube channel. I also send out a newsletter, like all the different ways that you could talk about them. Mentioning those when you're pitching them will be awesome because they love to see the different ways you can actually reach your audience and that you're not just talking to yourself in a room on a microphone like I am right now. So, and then another one, like Elizabeth did, she got the email from them so she could email them directly. Like, okay, so she DM'd them, or not DM'd them, she reached out in their chat box, but she didn't pitch them in their chat box. She was like, hey, what's the email of the marketing coordinator so I can reach out to them and not like, hey, yes, I want to work with you in the chat box because that's not professional. So yeah, that is a huge tip I would have is actually emailing them directly.
Yeah. It's just about asking like the right people, I guess, for contact information. I mean, most of the time people are happy to give out that stuff if you're asking. And then as soon as I emailed them the contact at QuickBooks Self-Employed, I think within like a week or two, we had a phone call scheduled up. So, I mean, it worked. It moved along pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I'm sure your pitch email, when you talked about having a sandbox account, this really talked about how it would benefit their brand and not necessarily yours. You were like, hey, I'm trying to teach other people how they can use your product. Like I'm promoting you with this, which I think was a defining factor. And you weren't just like, hey, I'm going to make a course so I can make all the money, but I need a sandbox account to do that. You really turned it around and made it about them and not so much about you, which of course brands are going to love that because they want to win. So
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then another tip I would have for you guys is when I used to work at a magazine, we would get media kits from bloggers and press kits from influencers. So this would be like a little different approach to things, but these are basically just resumes for your business. So if you want to look super #professional, I would totally make a media kit and a press kit. So this is literally just putting out those things we've already talked about, like the numbers, like your stats for your business, your traffic, social media following, subscribers, all that stuff, and including things like your audience demographics, who basically your reach and who you are actually trying to reach. So having that in a nice little clear, concise little infographic And then, of course, if you're pitching a product, having the photos of the product, having an FAQ about your product or about your service, a little bit about you and your business, testimonials, experience, and of course, gotta have that contact info. So it's literally like a 1-page sheet that just covers all of the high points of your business. They can easily look at it at a glance. And if it's something like if you're pitching to a magazine, then they can easily look at the info and have like a bird's eye view of everything. And it makes it so much easier. So if you need examples for this, I would just Google press kit or media kit to see it. But this would totally set your business apart if you're trying to work with brands, because they're going to think that you already have it together and you're ready to move forward with any kind of collaboration.
Yeah, I love that. And that's something that I still have to figure out how to put in place, because when people have asked me for YouTube videos or Instagram posts, I've given them the value of here's what I would charge for that.
Yeah.
But I don't have any like my statistics right now or anything like that to really back it up.
Yeah.
That's when they approach me. If I were to reach out to someone, I would definitely want this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is not like you have to have this to work with brands, because clearly you didn't have this and you worked with brands. This is just like, if you want to take it a next step or be even more prepared when this stuff happens, like this is something I definitely want to put together so I can start working with more brands. And I know you're probably going to put one together too, because it just makes sense. As you start growing your business, you're looking for ways to generate more passive income, build your audience. And these are just a little bit different way of looking at it than just like, oh, let's grow your following on Instagram by using hashtags, working with other brands to legitimize yourself. So yeah, something to definitely think about for sure.
Yeah. And also another thing I will say about this, the collaborations have been great building blocks and stepping stones for my business, but not in like a let's see, what am I trying to say? They're not the one thing that has held my business up. Like my business still would have grown without having these collaborations and these things happen in my business. More than anything, they've just been almost a really unique marker for me in my journey to kind of maybe help give me a little bit of sense of direction, figure out what I like, what I don't like. I'm nowhere near the point of being able to only make a living on collaborations, like not even close, but it's definitely something interesting for people to keep in mind and think about a little bit. And don't go totally crazy with the people you're asking. Think about 1 or 2 brands that really, really mean something to you, or 1 or 2 companies that you really admire, and maybe hone in on a strategy plan for trying to collaborate with them instead of, reaching out to anybody and everybody under the sun.
Yeah, that is such great advice. Yeah. Find the brands that you really resonate with, the ones that you're actually using and you're already a fan of, and not just, just picking one off randomly and be like, I'll try them because Elizabeth tried them. Find stuff that you actually already love, and it's going to make the relationship really genuine and honest. And that will definitely show through in your pitch and your email to them. And yeah, it's going to be a nice, happy collaboration relationship. So,
oh man. Okay. So I think we have kind of made it through our notes on here. Yeah. Did you want to touch at all, Cami, on the fact that you have a phone case in Anthropologie now?
Yes, sure. Well, okay, you guys. So I got a phone case in Anthropologie. I'm so freaking excited about it. This was kind of a collaboration, but kind of not really. I don't really even know what I would categorize this as, because the phone case being put into Anthropologie came as a result of my relationship with Casetify, which is a phone case company that I collaborate with. I guess it is a collaboration. So I submit my designs on there, and in turn, they are able to be seen by bigger brands. And I'm part of the retailer program, which lets bigger brands use your products in their stores. So I had nothing to do with getting my product in Anthropologie. It was literally them sitting down, picking it and being like, yeah, we like that one. They probably have no idea who I am. But anyway, the design is on their website, has my name on there, my credit, which is really cool. But this all came from just reaching out to Casetify and applying to be an artist and getting approved and uploading my artwork to their designs to be used. And of course, I make a percentage of all the sales on there, which has been a really nice little passive income source. And I would love to do an episode about this too. So it's pretty cool. But that was kind of a fluke collaboration that I didn't do anything about. So I don't feel like I can give you any advice, but it's just one of those things where like you keep putting yourself out there and things will happen. So you're not just doing it for nothing. But yeah.
For the application for Casetify, what was that like in terms of getting approved? Do you even remember?
I don't remember. I did this so soon in my business because I knew it was going to be a really easy passive income source for me. And it's been awesome. Honestly, I make around, $500 to $700 a month just from the passive income from Casetify, and I do nothing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know what it's like now, but when I applied, it was pretty seamless and straightforward. Like it's not like they called me and did background check, So I don't know.
But that's a great option for a starting collaboration.
Totally.
That you can take a little more control into your hands of, okay, I'm going to actually apply to this because they're looking for people like me in the first place. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely kind of a nice puzzle piece, It's the perfect add-on.
I know. So maybe that would look like Googling like licensing, like wholesale licensing or art licensing opportunities or applications. And there's probably other companies like this who are looking for artwork to use. So, but obviously you want to make sure you're not just submitting your artwork for free. You know how I feel about that. So, it's a total other avenue for collaboration. But yeah, this was really cool. I'm really proud of myself, even though I didn't do anything. I'm really proud.
You should be really proud. I mean, you have done work for Casetify stuff for years in terms of adding artwork to there. And I mean, $500 to $700 a month. That's so cool. It's more than I've made from my collaborations.
Well, I mean, this is true passive income because I do nothing. And honestly, this kind of has lit the spark where I'm like, okay, I need to actually start designing more stuff and making that more of a priority because it could grow into something way more. So yeah, definitely going to be focusing on that a lot more this year and finding other sources of collaborations like this that could provide passive revenue. So yeah.
I love that. Well,
that's a very happy note to end on.
Yeah, super happy note to end on because I think that kind of wraps up everything that we had written down that we wanted to talk about. Just a reminder, if you guys do have any questions as you're listening to these episodes or just questions about business in general, we have a place for that. It is called Q and Cake. We do episodes every 6 weeks, actually, is a Q and Cake episode. And all you have to do is go to our website, bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and cake. So like the letter Q and cake, and submit your question there. And then hopefully we'll be able to pick it up for one of our episodes at one point.
Yes. We love getting those questions for Q and cake. It is awesome to hear from you guys and we'll be sure to answer them on air. And yeah, I think one last thing for you guys to do, if you like our podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. We'll be reading them out loud because they make us so happy. They're like little love notes and we love them. We love you guys. So yeah, I think that's it. And we can't wait to see what kind of brands you guys collaborate with. And if you have any questions, just submit them on Q and Cake. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.